I'm just a guy who loves Disney that has way too much time on his hands. If anybody from Disney is watching, please don't sue me. I'm here to rate, review, and describe all of your favorite things from the magical world of Disney. I'm File91e and welcome to my Disney News and Reviews. Hello everyone and welcome to this week's Disney News and Reviews. I'm File91e. And again, I'm sorry for missing last week, but it was Easter and I had family down, so what are you going to do about that? It was a great time. We had a good time. I didn't take any footage this year. Just basic stuff, dinner and lunch, and the cousins running around having fun with them. Very cool. So yeah, last 2 weeks ago, the Where in the World answer, you all pretty much got it. It was the Maharaja Jungle Trek. That was actually the bat enclosure, the fruit bat enclosure, and that's it's a great exhibit. It's the those are the zoo portions of the animal kingdom, that and the Pangani Forest Exploration Trail. Both have some great animal exhibits, so check them out if you're down there. Also, I've been doing a lot with my File91e Facebook page. I think the majority of you who want to talk to me regularly post there. I love interacting with you. It's always fun to talk to you guys and get your opinions on things, and I post random Disney news updates and things like that up there, and that always gets some stuff going. So cool stuff there. And also, as always, if you want to find out the latest updates with me or with the channel, you can you'll find them there. So keeping that in mind when if you choose to like that on Facebook or not. So, but aside from that, that's pretty much what's been going on with me this week. Nothing new. Getting ready for Disney land and all that stuff. We're getting closer. I might start doing some vlogs about getting ready for that, because honestly the past couple of months have just been kind of waiting for stuff to happen. But in June and July I'll be able to set reservations and do things like that, so that should be fun. But yeah, so that's what's going on with me this week. Let's get right to the news. There have been some major shakeups in the leadership for Epcot recently. A few big-name executives reshuffled now that Greg Ruse is retiring. The most notable change is veteran Imagineer Tom Fitzgerald is taking the lead on the creative direction of Epcot. Disney is poised to begin a major reimagineering of Epcot and is looking to restore the original intent of the park in both Future World and the World Showcase. So this is pretty awesome. Fitzgerald will retain leading Walt Disney Imagineering in Disneyland Paris, where he's currently wrapping up the Ratatouille attraction in the Walt Disney Studios park. So that's pretty cool. I'm really looking forward to seeing what they do with Epcot. Epcot is in a huge need for refurbishment, and the fact that they're looking to make this maybe a retro thing, a nuo retro thing, is really cool. I think that would be the best way to do it. Fully embrace what what the Imagineers wanted Epcot to be back when they made it in '82. Obviously, we'll never be able to reach the heights that Disney wanted Epcot to be, but as a theme park, I think it could be. It could have been really, really cool, and I'm really happy that they're thinking about updating it. So awesome stuff. Also, Walt Disney Imagineering is moving Scott Trowbridge, however you say his last name, to a new dedicated project studio solely dedicated to the Star Wars franchise. This is pretty cool. This is a significant development, with Disney now looking to begin to make use of the huge Star Wars property that they acquired from George Lucas. Disney has not yet announced any plans for any theme park attractions based on Star Wars yet. Trowbridge joined Walt Disney Imagineering after being a key member of the team that designed much of the Islands of Adventure in Universal Studios. Islands of Adventure is a great park. It's the park with the that has the Harry Potter world in there. I'm not sure if he was on that or not. But all the rest of the park is pretty cool. That has the Jurassic Park ride and different things like that. So, you know, he has the resume. So let's see what he can do with Star Wars in the parks. Very cool. Disney's Hollywood Studios will be celebrating its 25th anniversary on May 1st. Congratulations, by the way. In grand style with a special rededication ceremony, a star of the studio's motorcade, and a fireworks spectacular finale. So that's really cool. Now, with all that going on, be sure to remember that the modified traffic patterns will be in effect. This is mainly because crowds are expected to be heavy, and it appears that the parking lot operations have taken lessons from the issues that were limiting or that were experienced during the Buena Vista Drive during the Villains Limited Time Magic event. Basically, with all the special events that they were having last year, there was a huge backup on Buena Vista Drive. So I think they figured out how to minimize that, I guess you could say. So good luck to them. Soarin' is now being rumored to be going through a big refurbishment. Pretty much ever since it opened, people have been wondering when Soarin' would update its imagery from showcasing only Disneyland to the Walt Disney World area as well. We are now almost 10 years since the opening, with the same California-based film playing. And it seems that we are closer than ever to a new film for Epcot Soarin'. I'm really excited about that. Disney has alerted its employees that helicopters will be flying overhead, filming at many of the park's big areas and big sites to see. So that's really cool. It is speculated that this new footage will be part of a Soarin' over the world, which will include sites from around the world, including Disneyland and Walt Disney World. So if they're planning to do that, that will be awesome. Soarin' is another one that is a great ride, but it's in need of a little bit of a refurbishment. They're still using film, and hopefully with a digital overload, it'll look a lot cleaner. There won't be dust on the film as it is over there. And I would like to see it in 3D. I'm just a guy that would love to see that in 3D, but if they can't do 3D with the Soarin', with the whole, how wide the screen is, I understand, but I would love to see that in 3D. And in some rehab and refurbishment news, Walt Disney's Carousel of Progress in the Magic Kingdom is scheduled to be closing for a refurbishment later this summer. The refurbishment begins on August 25th through to September 4th, reopening on September 5th. So September 5th is when it'll be open to everybody else. And finally, the 3D show It's Tough to Be a Bug at Disney's Animal Kingdom is scheduled to be closing for a refurbishment in July of 2014, or of this year. The refurbishment begins on July 7th through to August 11th, reopening to guests on August 12th. So keep that in mind when you are going down. So that's the news for this week. Let's get right to the reviews. Alright guys, instead of actually reviewing something today, it's the end of the month, so I'm going to be doing a top 10. Now, my friend Sam Alba, who is on my File91e's Facebook page, is having a birthday. Somebody's having a birthday. And so he requested that I would do a top 10 that involved some retro rides or whatever, and we came up with the idea rather of doing a top 10 rides that I would like to see back in Walt Disney World. So Sam, this is for you. This is my top 10 of that. And let's start this top 10 off right with number 10 is Mr. Toad's Wild Ride. You can't have a retro top 10 without referencing Mr. Toad's Wild Ride. It seems to be something that everybody has to do. Mr. Toad's Wild Ride is a great attraction, and I would love to see it come back in some way. When I was a kid, it was one of my favorite attractions, and while they transferred it to the Many Adventures of Winnie the Pooh, which is still a great ride because it's using the old track, I still loved it. I love the story of of Mr. Toad and Ichabod. I have it on DVD. It's a great, great story and movie. And I was kind of upset when I found out that that was gone from the Magic Kingdom and it was replaced with Winnie the Pooh. While I love Winnie the Pooh, I loved this attraction. It was fun, great theming and everything, and I just enjoyed it. So Mr. Toad's Wild Ride was number 10. Number 9 is the World of Motion in Epcot, or used to be in Epcot. It was replaced by Test Track, obviously, and this was cool because it was one of those slow rides that I really love. I love those slow rides, like the Spaceship Earth or even the Carousel of Progress. Because to me, that is what differentiates Disney from other amusement parks. Because while amusement parks have, very fun thrill rides and things like that, Disney was the only one that really had these rides that told a story and actually had, made you think, and every minute detail was thought out. And this World of Motion was really fun because you got to get into a car and you got to see the history and the progress of motion in our history. It's basically the history of cars and where we started from. And I just dug that. I love the narration. I love the old school feel, and I would really love to see more of that in the new Epcot. Just bring back some of those stuff. But I don't think that'll ever happen because not many people are like me when it comes to rides like that. But anyway, I still think it should come back. So that's why the World of Motion is number 9. Number 8 is Body Wars, also from Epcot. This was one of the first 3D, or well, not 3D attractions, but motion sensor rides that I ever remember getting on. I was a younger kid when I got on this, but I remember loving it and just being so enthralled that I was, we were going through the body and just how, and that was awesome. And that whole, Wonders of Life Pavilion is just sitting over there waiting to be used for something. And of all the attractions in there, that was something that was really cool. You can still have a Wonders of Life Pavilion and still do something cool. How else would it be if they did, you got Star Tours 2.0, now you got Body Wars 2.0. How awesome would that be? Instead of going through the vascular system, you go through the lungs, or you go through, the digestion system, even though you don't need to see poo or anything. I guess that might not work. Whatever, you go into the brain. How awesome would that be? Body Wars was fun, and I really think they could bring that back and do something fun with it. They did it with Star Tours. Star Tours was kind of getting whatever, even though you got to see C-3PO and Darth Vader and all that. It was starting to get a little old, and they revamped it and made it really cool, and I think they could do the same thing with Body Wars. So Body Wars, number 8. Number 7 is Honey, I Shrunk the Audience. Okay, Captain EO is now right there. They need to bring Honey, I Shrunk the Audience back. It's a lot better than Captain EO. Look, I understand when they brought Captain EO back, it was supposed to be a limited time engagement. I was happy that I got to see it, because I really don't remember it from when I was a kid. But it was a shell of what it was, and I really just didn't enjoy it as much as I thought I would. I was excited that it was out for maybe a couple months, and it was kind of neat that they would do that, but I was kind of hoping they would bring back Honey, I Shrunk the Audience. I still love Honey, I Shrunk the Audience. I thought it was great. I love the movie Honey, I Shrunk the Kid, and the fact that they took the references from that was great. I loved that show. It was one of the first that I remember that actually spit at you and had stuff that simulated mice under your feet. I just thought the gags were great, and I still do. I still think right now you could put Honey, I Shrunk the Audience with in there now with without Captain EO. Kids today really might not even know of Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, and they would still have a good time with it. So yeah, Captain EO needs to go. Just saying. That's why I want to bring Honey, I Shrunk the Audience back. So that's why Honey, I Shrunk the Audience is number 7. Number 6 is the Journey into Imagination. The Imagination Pavilion, this is also in Epcot, is a lot of these are from Epcot, because Epcot's gone through a lot of changes over the years, and that's the one that I care most about. But you got the Journey into Imagination, and the Imagination Pavilion is so neglected it's not even funny. They need to bring back the Dreamfinder and Figment. When I started really getting back into Disney, I really didn't know who the Dreamfinder was, or Figment. I knew that there was the dragon. I didn't quite understand what it was, but as time went on, and I've you know, and I finally figured out what it was, you know, through going through all kinds of you know, in-depth research and whatnot. Those characters were some of the best characters that Epcot or Disney ever created, and they dumped them really quickly. Almost as quick as they dumped the entire Imagination Pavilion. That pavilion has so much potential, considering that's what Imagination is, that it blows my mind that they're not doing anything with it. They're using it for storage, and I don't like that. You can do a lot with with your imagination. They have the square footage to do something with it, and I'm hoping that with this new Epcot refurb that they're going to do something with the Imagination Pavilion. You know, if not, just tear it down so that it's not just taunting us by sitting there. But the ride itself, back in the old, the olden days, was a lot longer, and there was a lot more to it. It was all about using your imagination. It's not this little 5-second ride that looks like it could come from Hershey Park. Basically, what I'm saying is there's not much to this ride, and there used to be something really cool with it. So if you ever get a chance, go check online and check out some videos of the old Journey into Imagination ride. They really cut a lot of that ride out, and I really enjoyed it. I loved seeing the Dreamfinder, and I would love to see the Dreamfinder and Figment back in this new Epcot thing that they're going to do. So hopefully, when they refurb Epcot, they'll bring back the Dreamfinder. So that's why Journey into Imagination is number 6. All right, we broke to the top 5. Here we go. The Studio Backlot Tour. Now you might be thinking, File91e, it's already there. No. The Studio Backlot Tour you see right now is not the Studio Backlot Tour I remember from when I went when I was 4 years old. The Studio Backlot Tour was literally a backlot tour like the Universal Backlot Tour is over in Hollywood, because the Hollywood Studios or MGM Studios was actually a live studio where they would film things, and you could potentially see celebrities there. There was a lot of stuff going on back there where you could see things. You would see Herbie the Love Bug, and there was still Catastrophe Canyon and whatnot. But basically what I'm trying to get at is there's a lot more. And Disney has a lot that they could show you in a backlot tour. But I guess people just kind of, after the studio kind of became a theme park and not a studio anymore, there wasn't really any reason or anything to actually show you during the actual backlot tour, so they just kind of made it a moving museum, I guess you could say, where they had a lot of props and whatnot just out for display. And while that's all nice and good, it was a shell of its former self. I loved the old backlot tour. I loved going back and being able to see things and seeing how they would do stuff. And of course there would be the occasional prop and whatnot, and that would be ooh and ah, but there was just so much other stuff that happened. There was a lot more of the Catastrophe Canyon sort of stuff that you would actually experience, as opposed to just driving around and seeing stationary props. So the Studio Backlot Tour is in dire need of either just being completely eliminated or completely updated. Although I do think it'll wind up being eliminated and making room for another, I don't know, Pixar ride, maybe the Cars ride, who knows. They're thinking about bringing that over. So whatever happens, I would love to see a better Studio Backlot Tour, but I don't think I'm going to get that. But it was still one of my favorite attractions, and I'd love to see it back. So Studio Backlot Tour, number 5. Number 4 is Alien Encounter, the extraterrestrial experience. Now, this was a very terrible ride, or terrible attraction. And it was replaced by the Stitch's Great Escape, which is essentially the same attraction, only funny. The one good thing that this had about it was made back in the 90s when being edgy was allowed. When I went on it the first time, I was legitimately scared, and I knew if I was scared, a lot of other people around me were scared. Being an 8-year-old kid, of course, you're going to be a little scared of being in the dark and all that stuff. talking to my uncles and all the people that were there that were grown-ups, they were not scared at all. They thought it was the dumbest attraction because you just sat there and did nothing. And I thought the actual kind of story was neat, and there was the whole surround sound effect, and not knowing where the monster was. It had some good parts, and that's not the reason why I wanted to come back, though. The reason why I wanted to come back is because I want to be able to experience it as an adult. That's basically it. I just want to, I want to have an unchild biased opinion on this attraction. And watching videos really isn't going to give me a good, grasp of what this is, or of what it was, because of the whole lack of surround sound of being in the atmospheric conditions sort of stuff. I just wanted to come. I would like it to come back for a week, me be down there when it comes back, and then I can go on it, say I went on it as an adult, and say it was stupid. That's the whole reason why I want this to come back. And I have no reason why, but I really, really want it to come back just for that reason, and that's why it's number 4. So the extraterrestrial alien encounter, and it's not extraterrestrial, it's extraterrestrial alien encounter. See what they did there? It's a play on words. It's a play on extraterrestrial, but they threw the terror in there because it's scary. That's what they did, because they're smart. These are smart people, guys. The 90s, it was a weird time, kids. It was a weird time. Number 3 isn't actually in any of the parks. It's Pleasure Island. They just removed the Pleasure Island signs from Disney's, Downtown Disney. And I never got to see Pleasure Island when it was in its heyday. Pleasure Island was Disney's answer to the Universal City Walk, or the City Walk, where back in the 90s there was a lot of dance clubs and things like that. Again, it was more edgy, and Disney decided that they would put some nightclubs in Disney, and that's they created Downtown Disney in the Pleasure Island district, where you could basically go drink and have fun as an adult. I never got to really experience that. I got to see the tail end of it when I went back in 2006. They still had some of the stuff there, but I never got to really experience, going out and partying like I would now at Pleasure Island. I would love to go to the 90s, bar. I think they had a 90s. I knew it was an 80s and a 70s, like disco place. I'm sure they would have a 90s one in there. I don't know. But I just think I know I would have a better time now in Pleasure Island, being the 28-year-old that I am, versus going down there as a 12-year-old and going, well, I don't get it. I don't get it. So I would love to see that come back just for a week, so I can go down, have some fun, and kind of relive, being what Pleasure Island really, could be. So, Pleasure Island, number 3. Number 2 is Horizons from Epcot. This is one of those rides that I remember going on as a kid, and oh man, it was just so good. It's where Mission Space was today, and it was all about, the far horizons in space of where we could go, and landing on another planet and terraforming it, that sort of thing. And it was another slow-moving attraction, so that was right up my alley. And when I went back and rewatched rewatched everything, all those memories flooded back, and I'm like, really? They changed it for Mission Space? Look, Mission Space is a great ride. There's a lot of excitement in it, but it just doesn't have that thing that Horizons had. I know Horizons got scrapped because they were looking to make a thrill ride, because people respond to thrill rides a lot more than they do to these the moving story rides. A lot of times, people be like, it's boring. I don't understand why they keep having these slow moving rides. It's boring. It's not boring, or at least not to me. There's a story being told, and just the amount of detail that went into the animatronics and the set design, what you're going to see, what they choose to have you see, what you think you might have seen, really is something that you can't get anywhere else. You can get theme parks or thrill rides and amusement parks anywhere. literally anywhere. You go to, you know, to Hershey Park or King's Dominion or the Busch Gardens or anything like that, and there's 15 roller coasters and, you know, like all the spinny rides and everything like that. You can get them anywhere. They're a dime a dozen. But in Disney World, you get theming, which is why I say there's amusement parks and theme parks. Disney is the truest theme park out there because all of the all the attractions are there for a reason. The stuff that they show you is there for a reason, and the theming of it is outstanding. And you would get these awesome rides where you'd be kind of slow moving, and you would see this story unfold right before your eyes. And I can go on for months about that, about the differences. But basically, Horizons was great. It was one of my favorite rides as a kid. And when I went back and it wasn't there, I was kind of disappointed. And I really think that Epcot could benefit from one or two more slower rides, kind of like the Magic Kingdom has. I mean, it has Soarin', it has Test Track and all that stuff. But, don't forget that, Disney is different for that very awesome reason. So, Horizons, I would love to see that come back more than anything else. Number 2, actually, almost more than anything else. My number 1 is the one thing I want to see again before, it finally gets eliminated. But Horizons is my number 2. Number 1 is actually the whole reason why this show exists right now, why I'm a Disney fan again. When I went back down in 2006, there wasn't a whole lot. I wasn't really excited for anything. I hadn't been to Disney World in, good Lord, I want to say almost 10 years, maybe 8 years. I'd gone through, high school, grew up, thought I did. Wasn't really into Disney, never watched the Disney Channel, didn't really watch Disney movies that much. Didn't even really see what new was going on in Pixar. I really didn't care. But I had the opportunity to go back down to Disney World, and that first day we went to the Magic Kingdom when I went on the rides, and it really wasn't sinking in at all. But when I saw this, it's the Spectro Magic Parade. When I saw that parade, we were kind of forced to watch it because we were on the Frontierland, kind of the board. I can't remember. It was like the boardwalks there on the, by Frontierland, by Splash Mountain and all them. And we couldn't get anywhere, so we were stuck just watching the parade. We decided, let's just watch the parade. And it was a mix of just how good the weather was, who I was with, and what I was watching, and just being just this feeling of being completely surrounded by positivity, all the awesome theming and everything, and the sights and sounds of the Spectro Magic Parade that made me go, this is the coolest thing I've ever seen. And not just the parade, but all of Disney, but it was the parade pretty much that got me going. I remembered humming the theme to the Spectro Magic Parade all throughout the week. I had to get the soundtrack. I remember getting the soundtrack and playing it constantly to the point where my brother hated me for it because I would drive him around everywhere and I'd have my Spectro Magic CD in my car, and I'd play it and play it and play it. I still have it on my iPod, and I listen to it every now and then just to try to get some of those memories flooding back. And it really is awesome. I loved the parade. I loved the pageantry of it. I loved the the synchronized dancing and the lights. The Main Street Electrical Parade is great. It's the OG parade, the OG light parade, but the Spectro Magic Parade for me is better than the Main Street Electrical Parade ever could be. Just for the personal reasons and the emotional attachment that I have to it. So I would love to see that come back because I'm just totally enthralled by it. I love that parade. There are rumors that it could come back if the Main Street Electrical Parade goes, but if the Main Street Electrical Parade goes, chances are they're going to come out with something new. They won't bring Spectrum Magic back, but if it does, man, you better believe I'll be one of those people to buy a ticket just to see it, for however long it comes back. I love the Spectrum Magic Parade. It got me back into Disney. It got me, wanting to talk and get people to go to Disney, and thus starting this show. So without the Spectrum Magic Parade, you wouldn't be seeing me here right now. So yeah, that's number one, the Spectro Magic Parade. It's one of my all-time favorites. And if you haven't got a chance to see it, check out YouTube. I'm sure you'll be able to find stuff there. It's one of my all-time favorite attractions ever, if not my all-time favorite parade that Disney ever produced. Just for the simple fact that it got me back into Disney, and I haven't looked back since. So there you go, guys. My top 10 attractions that I would love to see come back to Disney World. I hope you guys agree with some of them. If I know you won't agree with all of them, but I'd love to hear your top 10 attractions that you would love to see come back to Disney World. Post them in the comments section. Go to my File91e Facebook page. Post them there. We'll get a conversation going. I love talking to you guys. It's much easier talking to you guys on that than it is on YouTube now with the Google Plus stuff. I don't like it. So yeah, my top 10 attractions that I would love to see come back to Walt Disney World. Well, guys, I hope you enjoyed that. Again, please post your stuff, like your opinions down there. I'd love to hear what you guys have to say. And again, happy birthday to my friend Sam. That was for you, bud. And next month is all movie May. It's going to be all about the Disney movies that are coming out. Next week, I think I'm going to be reviewing Muppets Most Wanted and the new Captain America movie. Saw them both, and you'll get to hear what I think about them. I loved one of them, kind of like whatever about another. Which one was it? You'll just have to watch to find out. If anybody from Disney is watching, please don't sue me. I just want people to go down to Disney World and check out all the awesome stuff that you have. All the great theming that you have and you put time and effort into that separates you from all the other amusement parks out there. I really want people to go down and experience that, because there's nothing like going to Disney World. You get a sense that you're in a whole other place. It's like Oz it's like Dorothy going to Oz. You're not in Kansas anymore. Actually, you wouldn't be in Kansas because you'd be in Florida. But yeah. If you are going to Disney World, be sure to go to alldisneynet.touringplans.com, wdwmatches.com for our latest and greatest Disney news. WaltDisneyWorld.com is good too, straight from the horse's mouth. Also, Passporter.com, another great website. Check that out. They have a great guide with that. So yeah, you guys got it pretty easy last time with the Where in the World. I'll try to stump you this time, but I don't think I can stump you Disney nerds. You guys out there, you know too much. You know too much. But yeah, so I'll see you guys next week for another Disney news and reviews. So guys, where in the world am I this week? Bye guys.